Hi, friends. Today is going to be a little bit different as this is going to be a solo episode. And I want to talk about something that I've learned about friendship over time. There are three distinct traits that you need in a friend. Sometimes throughout your life, you might find all three of these in one person. And honestly, I think if you do, I think that's rare. More often, these are going to show up in different friendships throughout your lifetime. And that is totally normal. We all know that friendships are not all one size fits all. It's not everything and the same for everyone, right? Long term friendships bring different strengths, people bring different strengths, and sometimes you need those strengths in different seasons of your life. So, long term friendships are definitely not one size fits all. And I think these three things that we are going to discuss today are really must haves to maintain friendships and long term friendships. So, the first one we're going to talk about, that friend that I think you need to have in your life at some point, is a truth teller. This is the person who will tell you the hard truths, but not in a harsh way, right? They are the one that can come to you and you can go to them and you share a bond such that you can tell each other hard truths without being harsh. This involves trust and this involves being able to just speak to each other in a manner where we all know hard truths, sometimes we don't want to hear them. But sometimes you need that person in your life that will be the one that will tell you that, even though it's not something that you want to hear. And so that truth teller is going to be very important because sometimes we need to hear these types of things and we need to be able to tell our friends those types of things that maybe they don't want to hear. There have been multiple times in friendships that I've had where we have had some really truthful conversations, right? And my friends have told me things that I didn't want to hear or things that maybe I recognized, but I still did not want to hear spoken out loud. And that is the kind of person that you trust and you can speak to and feel comfortable telling the truth to and receiving the truth from. So the truth teller, if you can find a truth teller in your friendship, that is very, very important. And I think another one is having a confidant. So this is different than the truth teller. The reason why this is different is because with a confidant, you're talking to that person. That person is sharing with you some of their innermost secrets, some of the most private things in their lives, right? They're being vulnerable. And it's the one person that you know, if you tell them something, it's going to stay right there. It's not going to go outside of your conversation. And it is very important to have someone in your life that you can just feel that free with, that vulnerable to speak with that person. It's hard sometimes. It's hard to share emotions. It's hard to share feelings. And if you have one person in your life who you can go to and depend on and feel like you can just lay it all out on the line and know that that person will be there for you and that conversation is just staying where it is, I think that is very, very important because then it relieves us of keeping certain things bottled up inside and, maybe just never addressing and that type of thing. So it's very important to have that person in your life that you can just confide in, feel safe with. They're going to protect your privacy. You can feel vulnerable with them. I think that person, because we all go through times in our life when we just need that outlet and we need somebody that we know is going to have our back and just sit there and listen, right? And we also want to be that person to someone else, right? We want to be the one that will let them talk to us and that they can feel vulnerable coming to us, understanding that this conversation is going nowhere else except between these two people. And I think it's a great feeling when somebody can come to you and tell you these types of things and they trust you just that much to really talk to you about some of their deepest feelings and, maybe situations that they have going on in their life and, being vulnerable with you. So having a confidant like that is definitely another trait that you want to have in your friendships throughout your lifetime. I think the third that I really want to talk about as well is you need a ride or die. You need that person that is going to show up for you no matter what, no matter when. Having that person by your side, it doesn't matter the time of day, the situation, or anything like that. If you know that you have a ride or die, no matter what the situation is, and that person will come and help you at the drop of a hat, it's almost like a relief, right? It's almost like you don't have to worry because you do have that one person. And again, like I said before, on the flip side, it's a great feeling knowing that you can be that person for someone else. There are many recent stories I could share with my friend and I that we've talked about in other episodes, right? Where when my mother passed away, I mean, she dropped everything she had to drop. And she was by my side for days at a time, stayed the night at my house. Like it didn't matter what else she had going on. She dropped it all and she showed up for me there. And there's been times I've done the same thing for her. And that is a true ride or die type of friendship. No matter what else is happening, if there is a situation that is urgent and requires your assistance, like it is so nice to know that you have that ride or die with you. And it just is going to take a phone call or something like that for them to be there for you and for you to be there for them. Just having that in your life it means so much. And so you have the truth teller, the person who's always going to be honest with you. You have your confidant, the person you can be vulnerable with, but also the person who's going to protect your privacy. And you have your ride or die, that person that's going to, at the drop of a hat, be there if you need them. And you are going to reciprocate these same traits to your friends as well. What's very important is that I would say it's more rare to find all three of these traits in one person. And if you do, you're extremely lucky. And that's what my friend and I have is we have all three. We have all three in one friendship. But understand, I think that's more rare. If you have these traits in different friends, that's perfectly normal. And then sometimes friends are only here for certain seasons. So if, say, you have a friend who is your truth teller, and maybe that season of friendship ends with that person, that's okay. Because it's nice that you had that season with that person. And know that that will probably come in another form with another friendship. You will probably find that truth teller again in your life. And so as we move through friendships, different seasons in our lives, we have different friends. And so your confidant now, your truth teller now, maybe even your ride or die, that might be a different person 5 years from now or 10 years from now. You just never know, but it's perfectly normal if it is. But if you can find these three traits in people, and if you can provide this type of friendship to people as well, provide these kind of traits, I think that's a big win. If it feels right, you'll know it. When it feels right, you will know it, right? There's going to be that first time when you might say to yourself, wow, I really want to tell this person something, but I'm not sure how they're going to take it. There's always that first step because you're not going to know unless you take it, right? So say you want to say something, you want to be a truth teller to someone, say the friendship might be fairly new. That's okay. Yeah, you're never going to know unless you cross that bridge, talk to them, tell them, and you'll feel it though. You will feel it if, depending on what level and where that friendship is currently at, you're going to feel that. So, those three traits, right? No ground, no promises, just flat out instilling in each other. Might be one friend, I trust you, you trust me, we have that together. Maybe you have two of these traits in one friend and one in the other. You never know. You never know how life is going to play out like that. But if you find friends that have these three traits, that is a gold mine, because these are three very important things, especially when you talk about your privacy and your vulnerability. It is very important. And if you have someone in your life that provides that for you and that you can provide for them, that's a huge victory for friendship right there. So they might be spread across different friendships. They might be spread across different friendships during different seasons, but understand that these three things are very, very important. And even if they are spread across friends, it doesn't make those friendships any less meaningful, right? Those are still meaningful. Again, if you find all three in one person, that's probably a rarity. But if you find all three in different friendships, that's a win. That's a win-win situation. If you can be there for them and they can be there for you like that, take advantage of that and enjoy every second of it. So if you were to think about your life right now, which one of these do you feel is more important for you? We would love to hear your feedback. If you'd like to drop it in the comments, or maybe you have other traits that you feel are more important than this. We would love to engage. So let us know what you think. And thank you for joining. And we will see you in the next one. Peace.